In the heart of the marketplace, Kato, a slim man in his mid-30s with a short, unkempt afro, narrow eyes, faint stubble, and a faded brown tunic with loose sandals, lay sprawled on a wooden bench outside his dusty barber shop. His posture, slouched and careless, mirrored his spirit. Scissors rusted at his side, while flies danced over an empty jar where coins once clinked. Villagers passed by, shaking their heads, whispering about his wasted skill. Chief Baraka, a tall elder in his early 60s with a bald head, a thick grey beard, deep-set eyes, and a flowing red and gold robe, stood at a distance. His beaded necklace glinted as he leaned on his carved staff. He watched the sleeping barber and sighed. A village with lazy hands loses its honour, he thought. Travellers entered the village, their hair untidy from the road. Women with colourful head wraps complained that their husbands looked wild. Children giggled, pointing at Kato's idle form. The once thriving marketplace now bore the mark of neglect, because the only barber refused to work. That night, under a sky filled with stars, Chief Baraka called the elders. "We will not scold him. We will awaken him." He ordered a rumour to be spread. A golden merchant would arrive, seeking a haircut that would decide the village's fortune. At dawn, drums echoed as the rumour took flight. Women whispered at wells, traders shouted in the market, and children ran from hut to hut. Kato, slim, unkempt, eyes still heavy with sleep, overheard the words. "Gold for a haircut. The merchant comes soon." For the first time in months, Kato cleaned his rusty blades. He swept the dusty floor, oiled his scissors, and waited. Men came, hoping to impress the merchant. Kato cut, shaved, and earned coins, but the golden merchant never appeared. Days passed. Each dawn brought more villagers. Kato's hands ached, his back bent, but his pocket filled with coins. Children swept hair from the floor. Women smiled at their husbands' neat cuts. The village began to glow again. To keep the fire burning, Chief Baraka announced a festival. Every man must look royal, he declared. Kato worked sunrise to sunset, his fingers moving like rivers through the fields of hair. By the third week, Kato began to wonder. Where is the merchant? His greed whispered, but his hands kept working. The village had never been cleaner, neater, or prouder. On the 30th day, Chief Baraka entered the shop. Kato, slim and sweat-soaked, looked up. "Where is the golden merchant?" The chief raised his staff and said, "He never existed. The gold was in your own hands." Kato stood in silence. He saw his full jar, his clean tools, the respect in the eyes of his people. Laziness had stolen months from him. Work had returned his name. The festival came alive with drums, food, and laughter. Men with sharp cuts danced, women swirled in bright wrappers, and children sang. The once lazy barber now walked with pride, his faded tunic now neat, his pockets heavy with honest gold. Chief Baraka spoke to the crowd. "Let this be a lesson. Gold does not come to sleeping hands. It comes to hands that work," the villagers cheered. Kato bowed. Now Kato the proud, not Kato the lazy. Weeks after Kato, the slim man in his mid-30s with a short, unkempt afro, narrow eyes, faint stubble, a faded brown tunic, and loose sandals, had transformed his once dusty shop into a hub of activity. Two rival barbers from a nearby village arrived. They were broad-shouldered men in dark blue tunics with polished razors at their belts, their eyes sharp with envy. They whispered among themselves as they saw travellers lining up at Kato's door. Chief Baraka, a tall elder in his early 60s with a bald head, thick grey beard, deep-set eyes, and a red and gold patterned robe with a beaded necklace, leaned on his carved staff and smiled quietly. His plan hadn't only revived Kato, but had brought attention from beyond. Seeing the growth, Kato decided to share his craft. He recruited 3 apprentices, young men with eager eyes, short cropped hair, and simple cotton robes, teaching them the precision of a clean cut and the discipline of steady hands. Each day, under the gaze of Chief Baraka with his tall frame and grey beard, Kato showed them how to sharpen razors, greet customers, and earn respect through skill, not laziness. But fortune is a river that can run dry. A sudden drought swept through Dembe. The ground cracked and trade slowed. Yet Kato, the same slim man now known for his diligence, kept his shop open. With his apprentices, he offered free trims to travellers, spreading goodwill when coins were scarce. Chief Baraka, tall with his greying beard and staff, saw that Kato's heart was no longer greedy, it was generous. One evening, 2 wealthy outsiders approached Kato. They offered him a bag of silver to give them priority over the villagers and spread their products instead of his craft. Kato, slim with his faint stubble and worn tunic, looked at Chief Baraka's wise face and refused. "I built this name with honest hands," he said, "and I will not sell it for a quick coin." As the drought eased, Kato expanded. He opened a second barber stand in the neighbouring market, sending 1 apprentice there while keeping 2 beside him. He, slim and once lazy, now walked with steady purpose, carrying his tools wrapped in clean cloth. Chief Baraka, with his tall stature and carved staff, blessed the new shop with words of wisdom. The story of the Golden Merchant spread to distant lands. Travellers arrived, curious about the man who turned from laziness to leadership. They asked Kato, still slim, with his faint stubble and patient smile, about the Merchant of Gold. He laughed, pointing at his hands. "The merchant was my work. The gold was my effort." A year later, a great festival was held. Drums thundered, fires roared, and the people of Ndembe celebrated a new tradition, the Festival of Honest Hands. Kato, slim, now with a trimmed beard and neat tunic, was crowned Keeper of the Blades. Chief Baraka, tall and wise with his carved staff, announced, "This man taught us gold does not come to sleeping hands, it comes to hands that serve." Moral of the story: laziness starves quietly, but honest work fills a man's hands with gold and his name with honor.